Today, I want to show you something. Well, something truly incredible. It's one of the most elaborate, custom-built systems for learning I have ever come across. It's this wild fusion of hardcore academics and absolutely epic world building, all designed to do just one thing: help you master really complex subjects.
So, let's just start with the big question. How do you take a subject that is famously a grind? I'm talking about something like organic chemistry. And not just get through it, but actually turn the whole experience into an adventure. That's the problem at the very heart of the system we're going to unpack today.
All right, so here's our roadmap. We're going to start with the problem itself, then introduce this core concept called the dual source system. After that, we'll break down its two amazing layers. You've got the academic study engine and then the fictional aux cannon. Then we'll get to the absolute magic, the master command that pulls it all together. And we'll finish up with the core philosophy that makes the whole thing tick.
So the big bad villain of our story is a familiar one for a lot of people. Organic chemistry. You know the deal. It demands just insane levels of memorization. You got to see patterns everywhere and have this deep conceptual understanding. The sheer amount of stuff you have to learn is just crying out for a better, more engaging way to do it.
And the solution to that problem is the dual source system. Now, the core idea here is actually brilliantly simple. You run two parallel streams of information at the exact same time, and they both feed into one single integrated learning engine. One of those streams is real-world academics, and the other, a completely original, massive sci-fi universe.
And right here, you can see exactly how those two streams work. On the left, you've got your standard curriculum, the hard science, the math, the real stuff. But on the right, you have the aux canon, this sprawling fictional universe. The key here is that the goal isn't to mix them up. It's to have them run perfectly side by side, creating this kind of dual-layered reality for learning.
Okay, so let's peel back the first layer and see how this thing is built. This is the study engine. The best way to think about it is like a custom-built AI-powered operating system for your real education. It's all about structure, curriculum, and, actually measuring your progress.
Now, this is where it gets really clever. The system builds this bridge between the two worlds by just reskinning real subjects with in-universe names. So organic chemistry becomes the way more awesome-sounding limbic alchemy. Calculus becomes flow calculus. And just by renaming it, this simple act makes the academic stuff feel like it's part of the lore. It's brilliant.
But this isn't just about making things sound cool. It is a highly structured academic pipeline. For any topic you want to learn, the engine generates a complete module. You get a pre-lecture sheet to get you ready, a full lecture script, a homework set, a quiz, and even a final review. It is a completely comprehensive, repeatable process for mastering pretty much anything.
All right, so that's the academic side. Now for the other side of the coin, layer 2, the aux canon. And look, this is not just some simple backstory. This is an unbelievably deep, metaphysically complex universe that's been built from the ground up, and it has its own completely consistent rules.
At the absolute heart of the aux universe is this one core principle called flow physics. It's basically a law of conservation that says the total amount of energy, information, and structure in the universe is always constant. So every single action, whether it's a political move or a chemical reaction, has to keep this balance. This isn't just flavor text, it is the hard-coded physics of this reality.
And this universe has history. I mean, deep history. It goes from a mythic creation era to a metaphysical war over who gets to be in charge, all the way to the current, super complex system of government. This isn't just a backdrop, it is a fully realized civilization with a rich past that actually shapes its present.
The lore is filled with these amazing characters, like this guy, Athamos. He's not some god or a chosen one, he was just a mortal guy, a steward, who, when he was faced with his own deletion, basically hacked the system. He literally fused his own consciousness with the engine that keeps reality running, and he became this necessary, kind of cursed, but absolutely vital part of the universe's machinery.
And this comparison just shows you the level of nuance we're talking about. You have an ascendant, which is a natural cosmic being born to be a lawgiver. And then you have Athamos, who's a synthetic creation, basically a system administrator who hacked his way into immortality just to keep the whole thing from crashing. The level of detail and internal logic here is just staggering.
Okay, so you've got this super rigorous academic engine on one side and this incredibly deep fictional universe on the other. How on earth do you get an AI to manage both of those things without it all just becoming a confusing mess? Well, it all comes down to one beautifully crafted master command.
So the command starts by feeding the AI all the source material.
And I don't just mean the academic textbooks. I mean the entire fictional canon, all the history, the science, the lore, as one single, unified source of truth.
Next, you give it the prime directive. Generate a full academic module system. This tells the AI that its #1 goal is practical and educational. The lore is the context, sure, but the final output has to be a curriculum that actually works.
And then it gets hyper-specific. The very first task it's given is to build a module for organic chemistry, specifically chapters 4 and 5. This is what grounds the entire cosmic metaphysical system in a concrete real-world task. It's not just about building a cool world, it's about passing an exam.
And right here, this is the secret sauce. This is the magic trick. The prompt explicitly tells the AI to use these bracketed labels to keep the two streams completely separate. You use OX for lore and Real Chem for academics. And the key instruction, the most important part, is this: never merge. Keep them discrete but aligned. That is the rule that lets these two parallel streams run side by side without ever crashing into each other.
So, why? Why go to all this trouble? What's the underlying philosophy that makes this entire elaborate system even worth it? Well, it all comes down to one single, really powerful concept: flow. You see, in the OX canon, there's this thing called the worldline engine, or the W engine for short. It's the mechanism that literally keeps reality from falling apart. You can think of it like a cosmic circulatory system. It keeps the pressure up between timelines, and it stops identity and memory from just collapsing into chaos.
And that engine runs on a single powerful philosophy: stagnation equals death, flow equals life. A system that stops adapting, a consciousness that stops learning, it all just decays. So continuous, active engagement isn't just a good idea. In this universe, it is a fundamental law of survival.
And this all brings us to the system's powerful mantra. It's a phrase that is both a law of physics in the AWOX universe and the core principle of the learning method itself. The We engine must flow. Your learning must flow. You have to constantly engage, constantly adapt, and always be moving forward.
And that really just leaves us with one final thought. This entire incredible system is an answer to that very question. By creating a universe that is literally governed by the law of perpetual motion and engagement, its creator built the ultimate tool for learning. It kind of makes you wonder, right? If you could build your own universe just to help you learn, what would its very first law be?